Welcome to this week's Open Tabs conversation, and happy Chinese New Year, everyone who's celebrating.
Gung Hei Fat Choi.
Yeah, I have very dirty hair today because of it, and a super dirty apartment that I cleaned the first thing I did when I woke up this morning. Okay, so we have a few topics we want to talk about. It's a busy week. Let's just jump straight into it. So this isn't really like a trending news item. It's mostly just been super top of mind for our clients. So I wanted to talk about it today, and that is LinkedIn. It's definitely becoming less of a job postings billboard and more of a actual social platform with LinkedIn content creators, which is amazing. And it's now, I feel like, a must have and not just a nice to have for people, especially if you want to be a thought leader in any space. I'm seeing a lot of traditional content creators from TikTok posting on there and stuff. But so that all being said, have been spending more time on the platform, and I feel like I'm getting bombarded with a lot of cringe and a lot of LinkedIn cringe, and I wanted to talk about it, what makes something cringy on LinkedIn and what doesn't. So do you guys have any initial thoughts on LinkedIn cringe?
I cannot go on LinkedIn for longer than 5 minutes. And it's hard because it's on the one hand, it is very cringy. And on the other, it's some of your favorite people sharing some of the best news of their lives sometimes. And you're like, oh, this is great. And I'm really glad I know this. Or doing some things that are genuinely really cool. So it's this weird thing where it's every now and then there's something there you want to see. So you go. But for the most part, you're wading through a lot of cringe slop to get there. But I also think it's inevitable because work is inherently performative and social media hates performativity. But how are you going to show up as your best worker self online without being performative, which is also very cringe. So I understand, and I keep going back to LinkedIn because I'm a business owner. I'm I need to be here. I need to crack this. But at the same time, I can't bring myself to go through all of the cringe and do the things that I need to do in order to be successful on that platform because it is so cringe. So
Yeah.
I put a lot of that off to my business partner, and she's luckily taken a lot of that. I do TikTok, she does LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So nice relationship in that regard. But I would like to see LinkedIn be a more interesting place that I did like to spend time, and I would like to network and, leverage some of my business connections there, but it's just currently not.
Not working out. Is there
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree. Oh my gosh, 1 second.
oh, Megan, I was gonna ask, is there what type of content
Second.
would you like to
Sorry.
see more?
So
Mm.
No, Melissa, go. Melissa, are you talking?
sorry guys. Ski week and watching my kids while doing this in Tahoe is not easy. Sorry. No, I really um it's frustrating because it feels like the algorithm rewards certain styles and types of content, but that content you're gonna have to hold on 1 second. Continue on. I will add my thought in a sec.
Yeah. So Melissa's point, I agree. I feel like I don't know exactly what I want to see, but I know what I don't want to see, which is a really long paragraph of so much to say so very little. That's really annoying,
Yeah.
I would say, and I don't want to just shit on or crap on LinkedIn things, but it's I don't know what I want to see because no one's invented it yet. Because it's I don't want to see the same stuff that I'm seeing on other platforms. So I think it's kind of like what we were saying with TikTok, where it's on the one hand, it's frustrating that the algorithm keeps changing and evolving. But on the other, it's an opportunity because the first person to figure it out then, has an edge and like there's room for experimentation. So I feel similarly about LinkedIn. Like the field is wide open for someone to do something even a little bit different, creative, and interesting. And everyone will be like, oh, this is cool. And this is kind of what I think I want to be doing too. And people will start to emulate and copy that style. And eventually the platform will catch up and see what the algorithm rewards.
I totally hear you. I think that's like I mean, I want to also say, if you guys like get a kick out of LinkedIn cringe, there is a subreddit, r/LinkedIn lunatics with almost 2 million members, that just posts screenshots of cringy LinkedIn content. And it is like pretty funny. But that does seem like the super long bulleted captions seem to be like a very common theme with that sort of content, which is I don't know if it's Chat GPT or like where that came from, because in our conversations with people at LinkedIn, they've always said like 50 to 70 characters for your caption. Like, keep it short. If you have a longer thought that like you can't condense and you think it's like very high priority, like at high quality, go for it. But they are not talking about super long captions. So it's like interesting that that seems to be like the style that people.
I think what's also, what I was going to say is going into like the psychology of what might be happening at LinkedIn. I feel like, again, we've ridden these waves of time where they're like, oh, it's all about video and like posting a ton of video. And then it's like going live on the platform. It's like this whole thing. And then every time it feels like we get there, then it sort of backtracks a little bit. And I suspect that they are really trying to calibrate to real thought leaders that like they are, like working professionals that are in the C-suite and high up. Because I do, even in our work, I feel like individuals who have a certain level, even at a certain company, like they sort of just end up sort of getting more reach, right? Like I feel like the algorithm like rewards that. Um, and so I feel like to Megan's point, like there really is, I think, a real opportunity right now to sort of completely rethink how to approach LinkedIn and to be like an innovative creator on there. I don't think, and like, also there's been waves where they really leaned into like turning it more into lifestyle content and then they backtracked on that. Like, I don't know if I've ever, like, if there's another platform you can kind of or this to where they sort of like dip their toe and then like back off. But again, I really think that they're trying to set themselves up to make it easy and something that feels habit forming and something that feels like, again, like a repeatable kind of experience for those that are in high level business positions. Like, I really think that that's where their like North Star remains. And I just don't think like live video or like constant video production sort of like aligns easily with that for most people.
I think that's a good
Yeah.
point. And then to what you were saying about just like rethinking the whole thing, I think that all of like the motivation to follow or engage with content, and especially like content from like real people, whether that's thought leaders or experts, or well, maybe not so much experts, but like thought leaders or any internet personalities, really, it's either because they want to be you or like be like you, be friends with you, or be inspired by you. And I feel like right
Oh my gosh,
now,
I love that. Wait, like write that down. I'm at like, let's quote Megan on that for sure in a graphic. Like that is, I love that, Megan.
yeah, and I feel like right now, LinkedIn is not really speaking to any of those in the content super well. It's kind of just like proximity of like, because at the end of the day, it is a job market platform. Like, as much as it's moving into the social space, I feel like people see it as a place to go to find a job first and foremost, and aren't really thinking about it much beyond that unless they are in those upper levels of business where there is kind of a desire to have kind of some sort of conversation with one's peers in that space where there's nowhere else to do it but the internet. And that's where I think these things come into play. And it's just all through the lens of kind of like bragging about your KPIs that just is not relatable or fun or interesting.
So I feel like the takeaway here is it's right for opportunity, but we have to be gut checking ourselves. Like I mean, and it's a taste thing. Like with any platform, like, am I adding real value? Am I over talking or overwriting? And is this content I would genuinely want to consume and engage with? And I feel like if the answer is yes, go for. But I also feel like LinkedIn isn't a platform where you need to like feed the feed like TikTok as much, where it's like you just need to post sometimes. I think it's like the place to be super thoughtful.
I mean, yes, 100%. And I think that, like, again, being really intentional about who you're talking to, why, and like what is the outcome you're trying to broker is, I think, even more so important with LinkedIn because of how, again, the algorithm like shows up in other people's feeds. Like the way you engage with and interact with something, the algorithm reads that as you sort of like advocating for it, right? So it looks like you're like supporting certain things or certain people in a way that is different, again, on other platforms. Like a like, I think it holds higher weight in LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so I think that, yeah, I think it's like whatever you do, don't follow the cringe. Like, using ChatGPT to make these, like, painfully long things, like, it I mean, it might get you. I feel like it's short-term gain, long-term pain. Like, I just feel like it doesn't buy you substance here, um, and I just hope that, like I hope that we start to see more creativity on there and that the algorithm starts to reward different things than this where we are, because it feels like we're sort of in this, like, middle ground that is just, like, not fulfilling, and it actually turns people off. Like, I think it turns off some real, like some people who would lean into this platform don't because of what gets prioritized. So, LinkedIn, I hope you're listening.
Okay, love that. Next topic is Wikipedia cool again? So this is from Vox. And I love Wikipedia, so I wanted to talk about it. So the premise of this article is as AI gets more and more integrated into search, like the Google AI summary that pops up at the top whenever you search something now, in light of that, more and more people are turning to Wikipedia as a resource. It's human edited, human written, and it feels more trustworthy to a lot of users than the AI overview that you get on Google, which is wrong a lot of the time. I'm saying that from experience. And it's very interesting, like how the tides have turned from like when I was in high school and Wikipedia was like, it was drilled into my head never to cite Wikipedia, never to use it as a resource. And like in 2026, it feels more reliable than Google. So light of that, I also like having this conversation. I do want to shout out one of my favorite Instagram pages that I follow, Depths of Wikipedia, and she has almost 2 million followers, and she just like unearths fun, random pages on Wikipedia because there's a page for everything. And when we post this on our Substack feed, I will be doing a roundup of my favorite posts from her. Um, but the question I have for you guys, have you been turning to like Wikipedia more in your own research, or do you think like as AI becomes a bigger part of our lives, whether we like it or not, is it that like human touch that Wikipedia has? Like, is that what people will be going for?
I'm I'm almost wondering if it's the human element that people like about Wikipedia, or if it's kind of just more of what I said last week with the heritage brands piece of just like it's been around for a long time, so it feels more trusted. Whereas a lot of these AI models have yet to prove themselves to us as being trusted and in fact kind of have bad reputations. Like Gemini is like just straight up gaslighter sometimes. Like, love it. That's the one I prefer, but it'll just make stuff up with confidence. And like, Claude has its own issues. Like everyone has like reputational issues. Whereas Wikipedia, it's like the devil, like it's like you're not gonna like swear on your life on anything you read on Wikipedia. You know kind of the level of truth to expect. You know how that information is curated, how it's like how it's interrogated, like, you know what to expect there. So I'm almost questioning if it's the humanity that people are gravitating towards or if it's the integrity of the brand, which is drawn from its humanity. And it's like the fact that it's like been a labor of the internet for the past however many years. But I think it speaks more to the distrust for the current brands than it does for like appreciation for Wikipedia and what Wikipedia is doing. I also think that because it's not for profit, it's seen as kind of like this inherent good, altruistic good, because it's kind of like it's kind of like the internet's PBS, I think, in terms of like where it's coming from perspective wise. And I think people trust that right now more than they do for-profit companies, especially when it comes to what they were saying of like scraping for AI, and like ultimately it's like that's why Wikipedia is relevant again because all of these AI companies are scraping data from there, but that's where you can actually, add a human perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say like interesting. So many great thoughts there, Megan. Yeah, like it does feel like this age of AI is actually making Wikipedia better, right? Like it's like pushing it forward more. Um, as far as like the platform itself, yeah, like I don't know, like I don't know. It was interesting. I saw this on Emma's list and I was like, I don't really know what I think about Wikipedia. Like similarly, like I was an English major and I think in the early aughts of Wikipedia, it was always just like you can't trust anything that is on there. You have to fact check it. It has to have a source, like, whatever. And then just having worked with various clients who have like issue with their Wikipedia, and like I don't know how many of our listeners or followers have actually tried to like change a Wikipedia, but it is a very interesting process and it's not what one thinks. Like it's just this like, huge array of like editors on the back end, which Emma in the notes for this, if there is like a explainer on the company Wikipedia, like I just think it would be fascinating for people to be able to read. Anyway, the point being is that like oftentimes like there's things in there that people don't want or it's like negative stories or like whatever and it's always perpetually at the top of search. And so whether that's right or wrong, the moral ethics of it all is fine. It's just always sort of like been this interesting thing to me like how did this website get that? How does it stay there? And like, and now it's interesting because I do think that there's in this moment, especially with Google and AI, that like there's definitely this convergence of Wikipedia and AI and like the AI summary and all that. Like, and it's like very interconnected. I don't know. So I don't know. I sort of I think it's interesting to have like the human element of it too, but like I've also seen and like heard firsthand the frustration of that as well. These sort of like unwritten rules of like how Wikipedia works, And so I don't know.
I kind of view Wikipedia as like lovable little rascals. I just feel like it's such a funny like community and it is a community. Like there are Wikipedia editors and like you said, Megan, it's not for profit. Like they're not getting paid for this, but like they feel so passionately about the editing work that they do and it's like taken very seriously. And it's kind of like refreshing, like to see people like this community on the internet and like funny, taking itself so seriously. I remember I'm like a huge Real Housewives of New York fan. That's like how me and my mom bonded in high school. We would watch it together. And Carol Radziwill would say when she couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, she would edit people's Wikipedia pages. And it was like one of her favorite like hobbies that she did. Um, and I always thought that was like really funny. Um, but yeah, I think like I'll definitely include a deep dive in how Wikipedia works because it's really fascinating and it's like it's kind of like an iceberg like or a glacier. Like there's so much happening under the surface that you just don't know about when you're scrolling some random actor's page. Um, but yeah, I mean I'm a Wikipedia.
My favorite part is always just like I just like go to like what is it, personal history.
Yeah.
I'm always like, wait, let's get to the juice, you know.
I think that's also part of why it's so relevant because it's like it has all the things you wanna know, like, it'll have, like,
Yeah.
marriage history, personal drama, and then everything's hyperlinked so you can go look at it from all the different angles. Like, I think it's just more so than the information being curated by a human, I think the way that it's set up is very intuitive to satisfy, like, very human curiosities about the things we wanna know.
You're totally
It's
right.
so
I think Melissa cut out for a second.
you know,
But yeah, okay. So more on Wikipedia to come when we post this to our feed. But okay, so final topic that I wanted us to talk about. TikTok has just rolled out a new local tab on our feeds. Um, so this is interesting. It's opt-in, so you have to give them permission to GPS track you. Um, but it shows videos from nearby restaurants, local creators to you, events, and it's designed to help users connect with their IRL communities and support local businesses. So it's all about local discovery. So I think this is really interesting. We've been talking a lot about like IRL connection and how like particularly young people want to like get off their phones and out into the real world. So I think that like this is interesting that TikTok is trying to facilitate that for people. Have you guys taken a spin through or have you guys opted in for your local tab yet?
Apparently I did. I had just checked right now. I didn't know I had, but I have. I mean, I would have even if I, given the option, but I'm sure somewhere deep in my settings I could turn it off. I
That's
haven't
so TikTok.
Yeah, I haven't actually clicked into the feed, and checked it out, but already TikTok was very local, and my TikTok I mean, I live in LA, so it's, like, not that hard for my FYP to be very local, but I so it hasn't really changed anything that much for me, and in fact, I feel like that was something people often always talked about TikTok being a very local feed. So I see this more as them externalizing, something that's always been a feature of the app, and that's almost less creepy than before when it would just serve that stuff to you without it being in a dedicated feed or even telling you that this is something it was doing.
I mean, I'm just you guys are a compelling development, and now I'm like curious about doing it my form for me to keep me like more engaged in it in ways that I haven't before. Um, I feel like I might be frozen.
You're breaking up a little bit, but we got the gist, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, yeah, I'm curious about it, and I'm wondering if it'll make the platform more like interesting for me, in a different way than I've experienced TikTok before.
I also wonder if, like, similar to Megan, what you were saying about Wikipedia, like it's not not-for-profit status, like, feeling altruistic. I wonder if this is, like, kind of an altruistic move for TikTok. I mean, last week or maybe the week before, we were talking about how, like, social media is literally on trial right now with, like, young people, saying the platforms are too addictive and, like, TikTok's infinite scroll feature, like, in particular, was called out for, like, being really harmful to kids, and I wonder if this is like, well, now we have a local tab to connect you with, like, local businesses, and so you can get out of the house. I wonder if that's, like, somewhat of a reaction to that.
I do think it ultimately does have to do with location tracking. I do think it ultimately has to do with, like, wanting us to consent to some degree of giving away our location habits so that they can better map those and better predict consumer behaviors and then charge the local businesses to advertise to said consumers, yada, yada, yada. But I also do think it's reflective of a shift in that it used to be that influencers were so much like New York, LA, and now that it's so democratized, I feel like there's local influencers in all the spots. Here in LA, there's no Ho Nick, which is comes up on my FYP a lot. He's a creator who lives in the San Fernando Valley, like the valley in LA, and makes content like that's hyper specific to like Burbank, Glendale, North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks, that area, and it'll be like, "This is happening at this park. This club is meeting over here." And so it's, like, theoretically, like, all stuff I could go to. And so I think we'll see more and more stuff like that. I also did you get the trend, Emma, where it was like, "This is nice, but it's not the Cheesecake Factory at the Americana," like that trend
Oh,
that hap
yes.
Yeah. Did you get it for New York, or did you get it for Southern California
I got
places?
it for Southern California.
Yeah, that was one that I was expecting to, like, jump into a broader, like, just be a meme, but it wasn't. It was just in Southern California. So I thought that was interesting in conversation with all of this, like, location specificity of just, like I think in general, there's more of an appetite for really getting immersed in your hyper local culture and, like, your hyper local scene and being less invested in following the trends that are happening on platforms and more invested in your actual IRL communities.
I was also just gonna say too, to that point, um, I think in light of like that larger trial that is going on as well with, you know, mental health and whatnot. Can you guys hear 2-year-olds chatting with me? Um, I think
Yeah.
that to sort of make an effort where the platform encourages people to meet in person, and to have IRL connection is like a huge component of this. Yes, to all of like the other monetary benefits, right? With geo tracking and like advertising, local advertising and all of that. But like this like move to like sort of foster local, like it's not new at all. Like Facebook has tried to do this at different
Mhm,
times. Like I just feel like there's just more perhaps like legal pressure.
mhm. I'm gonna say
And I
mhm. Memes, you're breaking up a little bit, but, it's interesting. So I live in Astoria. My local tab is very like larger New York City area. So it hasn't gotten like hyper local for me yet. I'm going to keep like scrolling through, and if I see anything about like Astoria or Queens, I make sure to like it. So hopefully I'm training my TikTok local tab to get hyper local for me, but like I mean, I'm subscribed to, like, a ridiculous amount of newsletters, and, like, I really do need to, like, go through and purge, but, like, one that I open without fail every single week is Astoria Live, and it's literally just, like, a bulleted list of events that are happening in my neighborhood that week, and I open it every single week. I follow their Instagram, and it's like and I go to the events, and it's, like, truly, like, one of my favorite follows and, like, subscriptions. Um, Okay, guys.
Connecting IRL and
Yeah.
URL. That's like the theme
Connecting.
of the year.
It really
Yeah.
is. So it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see if like TikTok, I feel like it's kind of been a bit quiet. Like there obviously been articles posted about it, but like you said, Megan, I feel like this kind of like just appeared on my feed one day. But it will be interesting to see if like TikTok starts rolling out like events in like local little communities about this. I know like Spotify did that for their like Wrapped and have been like really leaning into that for their new product releases. So I'll be interested to see if like TikTok takes a page out of their book. Um, okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for this week's conversation. And yeah, we will be posting this so you can, with all the resources that we talked about.
Tomorrow, right? We're posting
Yeah,
tomorrow, right?
tomorrow.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching and sticking with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thank you for my spotty Wi-Fi.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.